It's what you learn after you think you know it all. So I interviewed Carla Cross the other day. She is a very successful and very valuable individual when she has been a successful real estate agent, a trainer, a coach, a mentor, a public speaker. She has done it all. So take a listen to this podcast. You will learn valuable information, whether you are a new agent or an experienced agent. Hello, fellow mompreneurs. Welcome to the Real Moms Podcast, the go-to space for resilient entrepreneurs who are striving for abundant living. I'm your host, Shae Spitz, a mompreneur and a realtor here in Columbus, Nebraska. Are you a mom juggling the hustle of entrepreneurship, family life, and personal growth? Well, you're in the right place. On this podcast, we dive deep into the real, unfiltered stories of incredible women who are navigating the journey of mompreneurship. We'll celebrate the victories, share practical insights, and acknowledge that it's okay to face challenges along the way. Success isn't about the destination. It's about the journey and the growth we experience as we balance our careers and the chaos of family life. Whether you're a seasoned mompreneur or just starting on this exciting path, join me and our amazing guests as we explore what it truly means to be a resilient entrepreneur striving for abundant living. Get ready for real, raw, and remarkable conversations that will inspire and uplift you. Because here at the Real Moms Podcast, we believe in the power of community, authenticity, and the strength that comes from embracing the journey together. So grab your coffee, find a cozy spot, and let's dive into the world of mompreneurship. This is the Real Moms Podcast, where we celebrate the hustle, honor the struggle, and thrive as resilient entrepreneurs living abundantly. So, welcome to another episode of Real Moms Podcast. I like to start every podcast off with a motivational quote, and today's quote is, "It's what you learn after you think you know it all that counts," and that's by John Wooden. So he's actually a UCLA basketball coach. So today we have Carla Cross. She has been in real estate business for over 4 decades. Carla Cross is an international speaker, trainer, company owner, and coach. She is a strategic real estate advisor and a real estate Bees. Her career has spanned to real estate sales, management, leadership, ownership, and training. What sets Carla apart from other coaches is that she has demonstrated high performance in the world of real estate practice. As an agent, she sold over 50 homes her first full year. As a trainer, she wrote training programs for 8 international franchises, trainers all over the world, named National Realtor Educator of the Year. As a manager, she turned around 2 real estate offices to #1 profits, got new agents into the top 10% of a 600 agent company in their first year of sales. So bottom line, her coaching principles come from real life experiences, proven results. So her newest award-winning book, Launching Right in Real Estate, What They Won't Teach You in Pre-Licensed School, gives would-be agents the facts without the sales spiels so they can make best choices. So Carla, thank you so much for being here and taking time. Clearly, you're a very busy woman. So thank you for being here on my podcast.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your career and what led you to where you're at today.
Well, as you were reading that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've done a little of everything.
Yeah.
Don't you feel sometimes that you there are some people that are specialists and they're really, really good at one thing.
Yeah.
And then there are other people that do several different things. And all the things I've done actually in real estate are all related, but they're different kinds of positions. And that's how I think I've learned what I've learned, because I haven't just only been an agent. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way, but I mean, having worked with probably thousands of agents, I understand the mindset.
Mhm.
But until you get into different positions in real estate, you really don't see that perspective. You just have an outlook at it from the outside. So at any rate, my background is in a closely related field to real estate music. And I tickled the ivories from the time I was 4. I did all kinds of accompaniment and all kinds of stuff like that. Graduated in high school from college with a bachelor's in piano performance, master's in music theory. And actually, Shae, and one of the things that I'll talk about today is I literally stumbled into real estate. My body's trying to give me a cold, but I stumbled into
You're
real
fighting
estate.
it.
Nobody would have hired me, I'm sure, based on the fact I'd never been in business. I didn't even, I went to a large university. I would walk past the business school and look at it and go, wow, that looks big. I guess I'll never be there. So never took any bit because music majors take 12 to 14 hours every semester just in music. So
Wow.
you're really and you're practicing 2 to 4 hours a day. So at any rate, so I go into real estate to help my husband who'd gone into real estate. But I found it fascinating because, as I say, nobody ever died for lack of music. And I know you might argue with me, but real estate, since we deal with security issues, we're dealing with people's lives to first have a roof over their head, and secondly, to create wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And music doesn't do that. It makes you feel great and it's emotionally fulfilling and all that. But anyway, so when I went into real estate, I was consumed with it. That was before we had things on computers. So we got these little pictures of the houses and we had to put them in order. Well, I'm the kind of person, I never put them in order. I went to John in the office, who was a great collator. He put them in order. But I sold 50 houses my first full year,
Wow.
really out of necessity. My husband had gone, he'd gone back into being a DJ, but I was basically the money earner. And then I had a child, and that's why I ask you who the audience is. I had a child, Chris Cross. Okay, you guys, we could have named him Double or Blue or White, but we didn't. It's Chris Cross, not the singer. And so anyway, and when he was a year and a half is when I went into real estate. So I understand from you guys' perspective what it means to juggle those things, especially going into a field. At least for me, it was very challenging. I had no full-time manager. I had no training. I was in a little office of 7 people where only 2 of them actually sold any real estate. The rest of them looked at pretty houses and ate lunch at Brokers Opens. So at any rate, but I had to make money. And I'm the kind of person, because when I was playing music and I worked my way through college and graduate school and later playing all kinds of jobs in bars and jazz groups and dances and you name it, I did it. And we had to go out and find our jobs. So that's the same thing you do in real estate, right? And I just love it when people go, oh, I'll just wait for people to find me. I've got cars, I've got a great company. Doesn't make any difference. This is the kind of thing where if you're the one in your family that organizes the parties, that organizes the picnics, that gets people together, and if you're the one, you got to make the calls. They don't kind of wait. They just wait. And that's what I discovered in real estate too, was I couldn't wait. In fact, I tried when I went to a big company after 2 years in a small company. I went to this big company. It's a great company. And the experience agent said to me, we just wait for the referrals. And I thought to myself, this is so great. This is so great. I don't need to lead generate. I'm done with it. Well, I didn't make any money for 3 months. And I'll never forget the person that told me. I was in the top 10 of the 600 agent company my first year they named it, which I'd been in the business, I think, 3 years. And this woman that told me had been the top 10%. But when the market got a little tough, she just dropped out. So the deal is, no matter what you've done before, you take those talents and skills and figure out, how do I make them work in real estate? And it doesn't much matter what talents and skills you have, as long as you apply them. A little bit later, we can talk about figuring out your value and creating that value. Because today, with buyers, we have to explain value or we're not going to get paid.
Yeah.
So it's extremely important. I'm sorry, I'm getting this cold and I thought I'll be fine. Well, kind of. I'm okay.
No, don't apologize.
But anyway, for you moms out there, I realize how hard it is to juggle, and I don't think we ever feel like we've got all the bases covered, and we just do the best we can.
Mhm.
Now my son is a real estate salesperson, and when he was like about 4, I would take him to look at homes. I had to. My
Mhm.
husband was working, and sometimes I had to take him with me.
Yeah.
He learned pretty fast though that if there was a sign up, he'd call it a selling home. Then he'd see the key box, and that I would open the key box. And what was so cute was the minute we went in, he would make a beeline for the kid's bedroom because he knew if you went down the hall, the longer hall, there were bedrooms,
Yeah.
and there was probably a kid's bedroom.
Yeah.
But I had to always say to him, now, Chris, you can't touch anything. You can look, but you can't touch. So from a very early age, he was looking at homes with me. It wasn't perfect, but it was the best I could do. So you just do the best you can,
Yeah.
but you have to put it at the top of your list. If it just kills me, Shae, when people go, well, I just kind of want to learn about real estate and I'll do it later or whatever, and they get a license. And those of us who've been serious about real estate really resent that, I'd say,
Yes.
because you're just messing up our client relationships. So if you're serious about it, then do what it takes. And that means you're in business for yourself, and you have to pretend like you're opening your own business and everything's up to you. It's not up to the company. I'm sorry. You can join the best company in the world, and I've been with 3 of the best. You can join the best company in the world and you could fail.
Yeah.
The company can't make you successful.
Correct.
The company can support your success. That's awesome.
Mhm.
But you're the one that has to get up every day and do what it takes. So anyway, so I sold for 6 or 8 years, went into management, turned an office around, then got bored after that.
You sound like
I
me.
did.
Yes.
I was
Yep,
like,
I
what's
get it.
next?
Yep.
And then I went into, I was hired to create all the training programs for a very large company in this area. So I did that. And then I was offered half ownership for one of their offices. So I did that for a while. And then I just went, my training was going so well that I just went into training for a while. And then I kind of fell into ownership of a real estate company. And I was a regional director for the company for several years. So that's how I've done all those different kind of things.
Mhm.
But when you're finding what your passion, I hate that word passions in a way. It almost people throw it around like,
Like we should just know what it is.
yeah, and that if we say it, we are it.
Yeah.
But I want to see what you do.
Yeah.
Those quotes too. Those quotes were a lot of them. Shae asked me for a quote, and I got to give her 4.
They're
Because
fantastic. You can say them all.
well, different times of my life, I've thought different things. And the reason I chose that John Wooden, it's what you learn after you think you know it all, that counts, is that having been a trainer a long time and first, piano and flute teacher from the time I was in high school, adults especially hide behind, no, that's okay. I know that. I went to training school
Mhm.
as though if you heard it, you've got it. And I know as a pianist, you don't learn a Beethoven sonata by sitting down and slopping through it.
Mhm.
You don't learn it by hearing it. You learn it by taking it apart and practicing it diligently and putting off being perfect while you practice. So, but especially as I get older, I've seen this forever though, Shae. I guess I'm the kind of person I'm always looking at the next thing.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
what's the next thing I want to do? Um, that and it's not age, it's mindset. That
Mhm.
some people are old when they're 30.
Yeah.
And yesterday I had the opportunity to hear a woman that I greatly admire, who's won almost every real estate award there is and attained very high positions. And she's just a wonderful, inspiring person. And and she's 87 now.
Wow.
And she said, I know I'm getting old, but I'm always looking to what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
And one of the people in the audience said, I'm comparing you, that 87-year-old, to my dad, who's 70. My dad seems a lot older.
Mhm.
So no matter how old you are,
Mhm.
when you stop getting excited about the next thing,
Yeah.
and the next thing doesn't mean you have to change positions. It means, like, one of the agents came to me when I was managing, and she was a so-so agent. And she said, Carla, I want to come to your office because I'm going to do really, really well. Well, I've too, Shae, I've interviewed so many people. Yeah, I've heard that a lot, right?
Yeah.
And so I go, okay, but she did. She just burned it up. And I found out later, she's Vietnamese, and I found out that she wanted to do that because she wanted to be able to send a lot of those dollars back to her relatives in Vietnam.
Mhm.
And she is so inspiring, and she never talks about it. I mean, you have to draw it out of her. But I found as I work with her that that was her, you might say, passion, her reason
Yeah.
for doing so well. And she was just that kind of person. She didn't want to be mediocre.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking to you and you don't want to be mediocre, first you got to put yourself in a place where you're around great people.
Mhm.
Because mediocre, I know this is a musician.
Yeah.
If I'm playing in a group that's bad, guess what? Well, I don't play very well. And there's nothing I can do to draw them up. In fact, it makes it worse.
Yeah.
So I want to put myself around really great people. But the other side of the coin is then I have to contribute.
Yeah.
I've seen new agents that wanted everything from the experienced agent. I want this and I want this and I want your whole thing and I want this. And I go, what are you giving back?
Mhm.
Huh? No, it's not up to the experiencing agent to give you their life.
Mhm.
A lot of agents will cooperate like that, but give them something back
Yes.
because you've got something. You just may not know it.
Yes. Yeah. That is, I love everything that you are saying because I mean, it's always got to be a win-win. And that's not just from the experienced agent to the new agent, but that's even in transactions too. Like you want it to be a win-win for your client as well. Like you want to know, like, what are they going to provide for you and what are you going to provide to them? There's just so much more to a relationship than just being one-sided. That's relationships in general too, with your significant other. It's got to be a win-win for everybody.
And one of the things you said is so important. I think women are relatively really good at this because it's more of our nature. There was a study not too long ago by National Association of Realtors, and you guys, if you want some really insightful statistics, get the NAR statistics. They come out every couple of years in buyer and seller habits and company statistics, and they're really invaluable. There's lots of invaluable stuff, but one of them is only a third of the agents ever go back to the client after they sell the house. So 2/3 of the clients are sitting in their house thinking, what about us?
Mm-hmm.
We just sold the house and took the money.
Yeah.
Only a third go back. I don't find it hard to believe, but I find that a lot of it's our company fault,
Yeah.
our fault as leadership, in that we're constantly saying, get a new one, get a new one, get a new one.
Oh,
And and we that's very important. I mean, when I was a new agent and I just moved here, and I didn't know nothing about nothing. I didn't know anybody. Well, yeah, I knew two people. and and I had to work with strangers because I didn't know anybody, didn't know any of this. But I just naturally, because I'm just like that, I just naturally wanted to maintain the relationships. And
yes.
now, I've had I have friends who I sold houses to 40 some years ago.
Oh,
We were figuring that out the other day. One of them, Jill and I are like, how long has it been? We go, oh, I don't know, 45 years. That's awful. But anyway, but we're good at that. So moms, always go back and take them a petunia. It doesn't matter. Don't worry. Everybody goes, oh, what should I take? Do I have to spend this much? No, they don't care. I mean,
yeah.
I've never heard a client open the door and go, oh, it's only a petunia. They are so knocked out that you would go back. and you would care enough about them to take them a little something. Again, it doesn't matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best things I ever did was I stumbled upon this guy who at that time it was an artist, and he did renderings of homes.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I would hire him to go do a line drawing of a home that what the buyers had bought. What was so cute about it was if the home was like not much going on with the landscape, he'd fluff it up a little bit,
Yeah.
and then I had note cards made, 50 note cards. And on the back, it said compliments of Carla Cross,
Yeah.
where I was. And I would give that to the people and they would cry. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I would years later go and list their house, I could see that was up on the wall. So I'm not saying you have to do that. It doesn't, the first point is don't anguish about what you're going to give them.
Mm-hmm.
Just go back
Yeah.
and give them something. But you're good at it anyway. We women are pretty good at it because we're the ones usually have to buy the presents for everybody, right?
Yeah.
We have to
Yes.
listen. We have to listen and figure out, okay, I wonder if they like dark chocolate or milk chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I remember that. We listen for that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're with your clients, just listen and observe. And then you're going to pick again, though it doesn't matter. But if only a third go back, those 2/3 are harming us a lot. Now, a lot of it is agents are in and out of the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's some of it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I have heard agents say that they cut that out of their business plan because they didn't have enough money. And I'm like, you
No.
just cut yourself out of hundreds of thousands of commission dollars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's very important to remember people when you're not getting paid
Yeah.
and make a marketing plan to stay in touch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the smartest agents I know is in Las Vegas. And one of the things she does is um, before Christmas, she puts together a great big bundle of Christmas wrapping and all that kind of stuff. Because you get to Christmas and you go, I don't know what I've got. I didn't look at it last year, and it's where is it? I got to crawl through stuff to find it, right?
Yeah.
So she puts this together and she takes it to her favorite clients' homes. And she says, I buy this stuff after Christmas when it's like a quarter of the price,
Yeah.
and I just store it and
Yeah.
then I'm ready.
Yeah.
And she's fabulous
Yeah.
at that stuff. And she's not really a salesperson type. I mean, she's not out there all the time, but
Yeah.
she's found her talents and her skills and her empathy and her caring for others has taken her to this point. So she drives her business with her former clients, and she's established a business for referrals with other agents by sharing all these things with other agents. You can do that too, and you can do it as a new agent.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to be an agent for 15 years
Yeah.
to go buy some Christmas stuff. Even if you've only got 3 clients, start there. It's a lot easier actually to start with at the beginning.
Yeah. And I always tell people it's all in your follow-up. And when I mean by follow-up, it's not just follow-up for your new clients when you get phone calls. It's all in the follow-up afterwards. Because I set up every one of my clients, I have 2 different systems where I set them up on like gifts. They'll receive gifts from me,
Mhm.
and postcards and newsletters. So they'll receive 4 newsletters, each year for 5 years. And then the other one, they get a card after a month, and then 3 months, 6 months, and then at 1 year, they get brownies. Things are a little bit more systematized now than back in the day. And do I still drop things off at people's houses? Absolutely. But not as when you have 75 transactions a year, sometimes it gets to be a little bit
Yeah,
tough
you
to
don't have to.
drop,
No.
bring it back to them every single time. But I actually just had a client who closed a month ago text me a picture of the card that she received, that just is congratulating them after 1 month. And she's like, things are going great. We love it. But she's like, thanks for keeping I can't remember what she said, but she said, thanks for keeping in touch and staying connected with us,
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I don't want to forget to say this too, Shae, is I'd love to. I'm a member. I've been a member of National Speakers Association for many years,
Yep.
and this one lady that spoke to our chapter really impressed me, and she showed me or showed us a lot of these little books. See my little book?
Yeah. Big
It's
ideas.
called Big Ideas, a small book packed with big ideas for your sales success. And it's what I did was I took the a lot of quotes from Up and Running in 30 Days, which is my startup plan for new agents. So I took those pithy quote big ideas out of them. I made them generic so they're for any salesperson,
Yep.
along with some of my other little things I can't resist saying. Anyway, so when you join my Carlos community and give me your address, I'll send you this. It's just a hard copy book. And
Yeah.
I know some of you will say, hard copy, why isn't digital? Because
Love hard copy books.
people like the tactile. They remember this. How much stuff do you have in your computer that you've forgotten you had?
Yep.
But they don't forget these. And the reason I'm showing you this too is in the book, it has the publisher. This guy is just fantastic. He publishes these little books. And he also told me a graphic artist to use. You can do it yourself, but I'm lousy at that stuff. So anyway, but it's in here if you want to do it, because I've seen several from real estate people that did them.
Yeah.
Like today, wouldn't it be great to have a little book of big ideas on the ins and outs of purchasing a home in the new era, something like that.
Mhm.
Now, what you want to do when you do this little book is see how it's a big quote and then just a few words.
Yep.
You don't want to make it a real book. I've seen some of those.
Yeah.
They're too hard to do. So you just do it this. Here's one. What does no mean? No doesn't mean no forever. It just means no for now, or I'm not ready, or I don't trust you yet.
That is
Right?
exactly right.
But if
Yes.
you take no for no, by the way, it takes people are going to turn you down 5 times.
Mhm.
5 times before they say yes.
Yeah.
90% of salespeople give up after the fourth no.
Interesting.
So are you tenacious? I just wrote an article about this. The tenacity, I think, is the most important quality for actually probably in life, but especially for real estate. Because we go into real estate, I was a music professor. So if I'd go to a party, they'd say, what do you do? I say, I teach at Willamette University. They go, oh, isn't that wonderful? We'd have this little classical, whatever. Then I went to real estate. And they said, what do you do? I say, I sell real estate. They go, I got to go to the bathroom. It's like, and that was long ago, before the reality shows and all that.
Yeah.
Reality shows make people think we make a whole lot of money. Yeah, right. So, so I had to learn also how to say that in a way that they wouldn't turn around and go the other way.
Mhm.
But it's important that you create a value first for yourself and then to communicate, because you don't realize, especially when you're new, that you're going to get all these no's. You just don't.
No. Yeah.
And because you don't think that, when you start getting them, you give up right away,
Mhm.
because you don't realize it's the game.
Mhm.
Now, I know that from going and trying to get all these music jobs.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times we were turned down the first, second, third time. We got it the fourth time.
Yeah.
So you just never give up. On the other hand, you don't keep doing stuff that doesn't work.
Mhm.
I wrote that Up and Running in 30 Days because I was so tired of seeing people do crappy business startup plans,
Yeah.
do things that didn't work.
Mhm.
And the reason we do things that don't work is it's easier.
Mhm.
It's easier to do social media than it is to go meet people.
Mhm.
It's easier to sit and wait for somebody to, hit you upside the head and say, I want to buy a house,
Mhm.
than it is to go find him.
Mhm.
The problem is that stuff doesn't work very well.
Mhm.
So if you're following anybody's plan or you make it up yourself, you're probably going to do a failure plan.
Mhm.
So you don't want to persist. You want to go find a good plan, and that should be modeled on what a would-be successful agent does every day to make money,
Mhm.
and not stuff that's esoteric. Stuff to start that forces you to interact with people.
Yes.
And then after you do that, then you can do the more esoteric stuff,
Yeah.
like doing video and all that kind of stuff. And it's fun. It is, but it's not the start.
Yeah.
It's phase 2 or phase 3.
Yeah. Well, and it's not sustainable. I mean, social media is fleeting, so that one video is not going to be there. I mean, it'll still be there, but people aren't going to see it years down the road. Whereas if you're building those relationships now, like one-on-one personal relationships, that's going to be sustainable for years and years, especially if you're going to
Yeah,
stay in touch with them, stay following up, having client appreciations. I mean, that's really where it's at. And I think it's interesting. I think people use social media as a cop out to get away from actually having those personal relationships.
absolutely. Yeah, they're all, I love that word you use, cop outs. All those things that avoid you being in front of people or communicating directly with people are just cop outs. And you can say you're working because you are. And again, I've because I started so many people in real estate, and I tracked exactly what they did. And I can show you. You just show me for a week your schedule, and I can tell you how much money you're making.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
So, in fact, that Up and Ring in 30 days, I have it online now. It's called Up and Ring in Real Estate. One of the exercises is I ask an agent to analyze the weekly schedule of George. George is a new agent. What George does, he goes a lot of meetings, goes lots of trainings. He plays computer a lot. He looks at pretty houses. So I want you to analyze, what are his business producing activities and what are his business supporting activities? Well, they're all business supporting. So George isn't going to make any money unless he has a happy accident.
Mhm.
And the worst thing that can happen to a new agent really is to have a happy accident. Of your Aunt Martha calling you up, honey, I heard you went to real estate. I'm going to buy $1 million house. Yeah, that's a happy accident. So you think that's the business, and then you wait for the next happy accident and it doesn't happen.
Mhm.
So the worst thing really that can, although, man, we love it when it happens to us. It happened to me, I think, once in my career, but it's the worst disservice you can do for yourself. So if you go lead generate to start and lead generate with those sources that work for you.
Mhm.
And there's an agent I know that's great with for sale by owners and expired listings.
Mhm.
And she's kind of a killer,
Mhm.
because she has to be really tough.
Yeah.
But you may not be that tough. In fact, in Up and Ring in 30 days, I prioritize the sources of business based on, are they easy? Are they going to give you the most bang for your buck? In your personal effort.
Yep. Yep.
Are you going to get the best outcome with the least effort?
Mhm.
And number 3, are they inexpensive? And that's how we start. And then we keep adding sources that get harder
Yep.
and more specialized.
Mhm.
But the idea is to try every source so you see where you fit.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, Katrina is a master for sale by owner expired. And that's what she's like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would never start somebody with that because you get so much rejection that most agents are like, oh man, they slammed the door. I'm never going there, or I'm never calling it. So you start with the best and easiest sources, and you also start with the numbers that will give you results
Yeah.
so that you have enough of them.
Mhm.
Ned in my office was walking around, by the way, you could tell when somebody's depressed, they walk around like this. I mean, they literally,
No eye contact either. Oh
no,
yeah.
right, yeah. If they ever show up. So Ned was walking around like that. I said, what's going on, Ned? He goes, I don't know. Haven't sold the house. So, come on into my office. I said, okay, Ned, how many times have you had people in your car? And that's when we always put people in our car to show. How many times you have had people in your car in the last 3 months? Now, if you'd ask me, or I'm sure you too, Shae, if you'd ask me, I couldn't have told you without looking at my day timer and counting them up.
Yeah.
Because anybody, I had no skill. So I put anybody in my car that would go. But I figured, I learned, I figured it out. I sold lots of houses. So I said, so Ned, how many people have you had in your car? It doesn't take him 1 second to say, in the last 3 months, he's had people in his car twice. Well, here's the stats. It takes 8 people. It takes 8 times of putting people in your car on average to sell somebody a house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that can be the same people, that can be other people. It's just a law of averages.
Yep.
But if you've only put people in your car twice in the last 3 months, you could be the best salesman in the world. You're not going to sell anybody anything.
Yeah.
So I said to Ned, because I taught him all this stuff.
Yeah.
He just ignored it because he was doing a failure business plan, right? Because he was protecting himself.
Yeah.
So I said, this is awful. I said, Ned, you shouldn't be depressed about this. You haven't even started.
Mm-hmm.
Because he really hadn't started. If
it.
you get to 16 times the people in your car and you haven't sold them something, then I can help you.
Yeah.
Because it's a matter of, it's probably a matter of qualifying, interviewing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always a matter of that.
Yeah.
So we can fix that.
Yep.
But if you haven't put hardly anybody in your car, we can't fix that
Yeah.
because there's nothing to fix.
Correct.
One of the things, Shae, that I did want a couple of things I wanted to be sure to touch as we talked is one of the things today that we mentioned a little bit is agents providing or agents being able to communicate their value to buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Because, most new agents start with buyers, and that's fine.
Yep.
And historically, we've started with buyers, and we haven't really had to prove value because the value was kind of, I'm going to show you homes.
Yeah.
And that's about all, as long as we could get into the key box. I'm not trying to demean buyers agents, but I'm trying to say with sellers, we have to prove value.
Yes.
But with buyers, we could get away with a lot not doing it, but now we have to.
Yes.
So one of the things I created, and this comes from my launching book. This is the last book I wrote, Launching Right in Real Estate, What They Don't Teach You in Pre-License School. And it's everything you should have learned and should have known before you went into real estate, but you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I created some analysis tools in here. So you could analyze. One of them is, what's your ideal job? So I think picked out 3 that I'm going to give you guys. And it's not just for people thinking about the business, but people in the business. So sometimes we stumble into the business. And I mean, I loved it from the beginning. Don't ask me why, but I did. But a lot of people don't. But a lot of it is we don't get that fast success that we've been promised.
Yes. So
These analysis tools are for you, and I'm going to put them right on my website, carlacross.com, and it will say, what do you want? What do you want to, how to analyze your what you are about and your value. And the other thing is creating your value. I'm going to also put on a questionnaire for you so that you can figure out what your value is. And the first place that you have to communicate that is in your bio that you should put on all your websites. Now, I've been teaching this for several years, and so I always look at people's websites, and quite frankly, they're pretty sucky.
Yeah.
Not the website itself, but the bio.
Yeah.
Because it breaks all the rules. But it's not your fault, because nobody's ever taught you this. I I've been coached by one of the best writers and speakers in the business. He co-wrote 60 of the guerrilla marketing books. He's a fantastic coach.
Yeah.
And he taught me what to say, how to say it, and what to avoid, because we have to write bios all the time as speakers, right? We have to write short ones and longer ones and all that. So I want to share that with you because especially when you're new, how do you communicate your value? I mean, I remember I was new, I didn't know anything about anything. My favorite phrase is, I don't know, but I'll find out.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, again,
Exactly.
that was really, I don't want to lie, but I didn't know. I mean, I came from a musical field where if I didn't know the answer, I could find it. I was very confident. So
Yeah.
even if I had to say, I'll find out, it didn't feel like it shook me up. But in
Yeah.
real estate, it's like, oh my God, another one I don't know. So anyway, so I want to help you create that value by not making false promises
Mhm.
for things that you may not be able to deliver, or the client doesn't like the way you deliver them.
Yeah.
Like, I'll call you right back. What does that
Yeah.
mean?
You better call them right back. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Does it mean 2 seconds? Does it mean 2 hours? Whatever. So I'm gonna put that on my website too. So when you're airing this, if you just go to my website, carlacross.com, those two things will be there for you. So you can use them and polish both your job, what job you want to have in real estate, and what are your strengths, and then also how to create that value.
hmm That's amazing. Well, thank you for doing that. Yeah, I should probably have you go critique my bio on my website and see what you think.
Oh, sure, that'd be fine. I'd be happy to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I would love for you to do that. I mean, yeah, I think we just throw out bios, we try to get people's attention, and then honestly, you kind of forget about the bio after a
You
while.
do.
If you're
Yeah.
not doing it on a regular basis or having to send people, and then you have a bio over here, you have a bio over here, and then
Mhm.
nothing flows together. I can see that for sure. I can
Well,
absolutely.
and when you're new, um, you don't what you want to do is learn everything and go find somebody to buy or sell a home to, right? You do.
Mhm.
And so a lot of this stuff you put off, but
Yeah.
most of it's free. For instance,
Mhm.
just having a good email address.
Mhm.
That means it's not Yahoo, folks. And um and having a voicemail.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you the number of new agents I called and their voicemail's not set up, or hi, it's John, want to have a good time? I mean, I'm just like,
Oh,
yeah. And or they don't say the company name.
yeah.
Oh, it's just, I mean, and again, these are all free.
Mhm.
And I'm going to assume that you're going out to find people.
Mhm.
Why not set this stuff up in a professional way? It's free. Your bio is free.
Yeah.
So it's something that you want to set up. And Shae, you said something important too. You want it to be consistent across different platforms. It's
Yeah.
some of them going to be shorter,
Yep.
but you should be pretty consistent. So if I were to go to you on Twitter, X now, or Facebook or whatever, I could still tell it was you,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So
Yeah.
anyway, you can go to my website and grab those kinds of tools. Let me know, how they work for you. I want to help you guys do really well. The
Yeah.
last thing I'd like to ask people about too is, because I'm starting in on this. One of the missing components of managing an agent's real estate career is, how do you manage out of it?
Mm.
How do you get out of it?
Mhm.
And I've I've kind of worked on this for years, but then COVID happened. I didn't keep working on it, but I am now. Especially in our area, we're a very upscale area, and we have lots of very seasoned agents that do multi-million-dollar houses,
Yeah.
but they would like to quit, or at least do less,
Yeah.
but still take advantage of all that work they've done for all those years.
Yeah.
But we don't have any processes for them to follow. So I'm going to create a process. So the first thing I want to know from those of you thinking about it is, time to get out at some time. And what I know is it's a process. It's not an event. It's a process. It's going to take probably 5 to 10 years. But what are your concerns? What should I put into this process? My idea is to find people who want to go through this process, and I'll lead them through it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two parts of it. The part of it is your estate part, getting all that ready, and the other part is getting your real estate business ready. That's that part. And the other side of the coin is, how do you find somebody to buy your business?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to also create a program where agents can qualify as buyers for the business.
Yeah.
And then we'll help the exiting agents match up. We will not match them,
Yep.
but we will say, based on your behavioral profile, the way you do business, here are 3 agents who do relatively similar businesses. And then we're going to teach them how to interview those agents.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's the idea. But if you guys want to, you can email me on my website or just carlacross.com. But I'm in the phase right now of gathering this information from my seasoned agents friends of what they want and what could help them. What I know hasn't helped them is doing these big seminars of all the things you better do. Goodbye, have a nice life.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be a process where we're going to lead them. Now, it may be you already have an estate plan, so you don't do that part.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when I have all the parts so that you can pick and choose, and we'll help you get through these things
Mm-hmm.
and probably form a private Facebook group so that we can compare and work on all these things as we go. But anyway, first step is I'm just gathering information now because I want to make sure it works. What do you think of that idea, Shae?
I think that's brilliant. And I think that that's why a lot of real estate agents never truly retire because they don't
Mhm,
know how to get out and still
mhm,
sustain a decent income. I know a lot of real estate agents might have rentals, but that sort of income is not in comparison, unless you have hundreds, is not in comparison to what you can make as a real estate agent, especially if you're selling
mhm.
multi-million dollar homes. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea on helping agents be able to phase out while sustaining a good portion of that income and how to go about doing that. I love that
Yeah.
idea.
Well, and the
Love
other
it.
the other thing too is think about the clients.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, when agents you say, "Well, I don't want to work so much. I just want to do 5 transactions a year now." What happens to all those other clients?
Mm-hmm.
They're orphaned. In fact, I had a program when I was managing a company was that we adopted the orphans. So when somebody left our company,
Yeah.
um, I would take their clients and give them to one of our agents and say, now these people are orphaned. Now ask them, would they like you to keep in touch?
Yeah.
And a lot of them said yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because too, one of the reasons people left was they weren't doing well and they weren't staying in touch anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a way, and sometimes the clients were upset. They would go, well, Josie never contacted me after she sold, I'm like, oh, great, And I didn't want to say that's why Josie isn't here,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
it was a protection too for us. I wanted the company to have a good name.
Yeah.
So, but then we had to role play with our agents on how to handle these client outbursts because they happen quite frequently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, at any rate, that's my idea. And you guys, I'd really appreciate if you tell me what you're thinking, and if you know of any. I know of a guy that wrote a book, but again, a book isn't going to do it. I know this from training. I know this from coaching. I
Mhm.
know this from learning to play the piano and teaching piano and flute for all those years.
Yeah.
You have to have a consistent process of somebody helping you work on things, encouraging you, inspiring you, and two, telling you to get your, what in gear once in a while.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Well, thank you, Carla, so much for being here. If there is one piece of advice you could give to the listeners, what would that piece of advice be?
I've given so much advice today, haven't I?
You have, and it's all absolutely amazing.
Uh,
We could, I
okay.
mean, obviously they can go back and listen to it, but yeah, what is
This is
one
my
thing?
okay, this is my advice, and this is one of my quotes. The first time you do something shouldn't be the best it's going to be.
Mhm.
And I know this as I know this first as a musician, is when we pick up a piece of music, we're most likely going to be lousy at it the first time. Because it's new. We haven't practiced it. But we don't, if we want to get really good, we don't go, oh, it's okay. I'll just slop do it forever.
Mhm.
No. And again, this comes with a coach. It almost never happens unless you have a coach
Yeah.
because you can't tell yourself you're slopping through. The
Mhm.
coach has to help you. It has to help you say, now, if you do this way, it's going to be a lot better. So practice it this way.
Yeah.
So my advice is don't settle for being mediocre because you can get better,
Mhm.
but but the way you get better is to get a
Yeah.
coach that will help you, not just a coach that gives you this cookie cutter, here's the program, do it, baby. No, a coach that takes that works with your individual businesses, finds the holes in it, finds the strengths in it, and helps you build a better business. That's my advice.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, you shared your website with us, so I'm definitely going to go on there. And is that up and going? Like the links that you were talking about, is that going up now?
It'll be there by the time you publish this.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. I'll be sure to get out there and take a look at that. But yeah, if you go and critique my bio, I would love that opportunity. I'll definitely have to go and get some of your books. I haven't read any of them, so I'll definitely be able to or be sure to do that. So
Okay,
I
well,
love to read and I love to learn.
oh, good. Well, send me the link to your bio or what the one
Okay,
you want me to do.
I'll
Okay,
do
and
that.
I will also send you what do you say? The do's and don'ts for the bio, and then you could certainly pass them on. And
Oh, I
anything you
appreciate
guys
that.
that I share, you certainly pass them on. I mean,
I
it just
will.
I hope it makes us all better.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That's what we're here for is to help each other, make each other better, be a better business person, all of those things. So I appreciate you being here, Carla. You are a world of knowledge. You have obviously done it all, and I can't thank you enough for being here.
Oh, you're so welcome. My pleasure, Shae. Thanks for asking me.
Thank you, Carla. And that wraps up another inspiring episode of the Real Moms Podcast. A huge thank you to our incredible guests for sharing their story and insights today. If you found value in today's conversation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And hey, sharing is caring, right? Share this podcast with your fellow mompreneurs, friends, and anyone who you feel could use a dose of inspiration. Share it on your social media as well. But most importantly, if you found this episode helpful, please, please, please leave me a 5-star review. This helps get our information out to those who have never heard or seen us before. Are you feeling inspired and you're sure that you could add some value to the podcast? Shoot me a message and let's talk. We love hearing from you. So connect with us on social media. Tag me at Shae J Spitz. That's ShaeJSpitz. And share your thoughts and takeaways, or even suggest topics you'd like to have us explore more in the future episodes. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Your resilience is your strength, and your pursuit of abundant living is truly remarkable. As always, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep embracing the beautiful chaos of being a mompreneur. Until next time, take care, stay real, and keep living abundantly.